It's science time, everyone. Let's get started with our learning target. Our learning target says, I can describe how 3 parts of the tortoise keep it safe. So let's take a look at this learning target and talk about some of these words. So it says, I can describe. Another way to talk about describe is just to tell details about or tell about. So I'm going to tell about how 3 parts of the tortoise. So we're going to look at an animal called a tortoise, and you want to think about 3 of the parts of it that you're going to learn about. Like finger, you have a part, it's a finger. Tortoises have different parts. So we're going to learn about those, and you have to be responsible to tell us about 3 of those parts and how those 3 parts keep the tortoise safe. Does anyone know what it means to be safe? Let's pause. We're going to continue on here with our investigation question that is going to guide us today in our learning. It says, how do animals and plants do what they need to do to survive? So this question will be one that we will be able to answer as we do more learning together. How do animals and plants do what they need to do to survive? When I think about your family, what they need to do to survive is go to a store to get food, right? Your family probably has to get you a place to live and make sure that the bills are paid so that they can keep that place to live. Well, animals and plants, they don't necessarily have stores or houses that they can live in to stay safe. So we have to find out, what do they do? So today we're going to read a book about one kind of animal called a tortoise. What do you notice about the cover of the book? Let's pause so you can answer. Okay, so let's continue. Look at the body of the tortoise. The word tortoise sounds like tortoise. You will see lots of different parts. These parts are called structures. Each structure has a shape. Each shape is good for doing something. A tortoise uses different structures to do different things. You can see them using their structures in this illustration. Structure. A tortoise has a beaky mouth. And it has, right here, it has a label on this illustration with an arrow that tells us that this right here is called the beaky mouth. What the structure can do. The beaky mouth is good for biting leaves. Let's stop and visualize the mouth on a tortoise. When you visualize, you make a picture or movie in your head. Close your eyes and picture a tortoise using its beaky mouth to eat leaves. Okay, that was cool. Structure. A tortoise has a long neck. You don't have a long neck, a tortoise does. And as we can see here, the label says long neck, and it has the arrow pointing to the part of the illustration that it's talking about. What the structure can do. The long neck is good for reaching up. What do you think they're reaching up for? Leaves, good. Close your eyes and visualize the tortoise using its long neck to reach up to get leaves. Picture it in your head. Okay. What did you see when you visualized the tortoise using its long neck? Let's pause. I saw it stretching up into the trees or the low bushes in order to eat the leaves. Stretching, pulling it. Structure. A tortoise has big toenails on each foot. Here's the label, and the arrows are pointing to the big toenails. Now, the illustration doesn't, or the words doesn't tell us this, but the illustration tells us, how many toes does a tortoise have? Count them up. Show me with your fingers. How many did you count? Very good. 5 toenails. What the structure can do. This is interesting. The toenails are good for digging. The tortoise can dig a hole for its eggs. We just learned tortoises lay eggs too. I didn't know that. Structure. A tortoise has a hard shell. The label here says hard shell. What the structure can do. The hard shell is good for stopping predators. It's a defense. I wonder what a predator is. Does anybody know what a predator is? Let's pause and see. Yes, a predator is an animal that's going to eat another animal. So the predator of the tortoise is this hawk. Structure. A tortoise has legs that it can pull under its shell. It can pull them in. Our label says legs that can pull under shell. You see them here. What the structure can do. Legs that can pull under are good for staying safe. They are a defense. So a defense helps something stay safe. So the defense here is both the shell and the legs that can be pulled in. Structure. A tortoise has eyes. What the structure can do. What do you think the eyes are good for? Let's pause and see what you think. Okay, we had some really good ideas. Eyes are used to see lots of stuff, right? Stuff like food or predators that might eat it. So eyes are another good structure. So here is an illustration of the whole body of the tortoise with all the labels. So the title says tortoise parts. It names each one. Hard shell, big toenails. Okay. It has eyes, a beaky mouth, a long neck, and legs that can pull under. So I want you just to study this real good and pick the 3 that you are going to tell about. Okay, when we pause here in a moment, I'm going to see which 3 some of you picked. Okay, let's pause and see what you picked. All right, so before we go into Seesaw for me to show you what to do, there are some vocabulary words that we just had in our book that it's important to know. A structure is a part of an object or a living thing that does something, has some sort of a job. So a part of an object or a living thing that does something. So one structure, a body structure that humans have would be 2 hands, 2 feet, 2 eyes, 2 ears. Those are structures, okay? They are part of an object or a living thing. It doesn't have to be alive that do something. For example, this jar of peanuts, part of its structure is a lid. What does the lid do? It screws on and stops the peanuts from falling out. So it has a job, the structure, okay? So what you're going to do next is you're going to go into Seesaw and you're going to find an activity called Science, talking about a tortoise's body. I'm going to click on Add Response. And then right here on this sheet, you are going to, oops, I didn't listen to the instructions. Let's see what they were. Let me see. Watch the video lesson to learn about the tortoise. Click on the green Add Response button. Then use your pencils and drawing tools to draw 3 details you learned about the body of the tortoise. Use the microphone to tell me what you drew. Click on the green check when you're done. Okay, so I have to use the pencils and the writing tools to draw 3 details about the tortoise. Let me think back. Okay, I remember it had a beaky nose. So I'm going to draw the beaky nose. I'm going to try my best to use an accurate color. It was kind of like brown. I'm going to draw the beaky nose. Okay. And I had like an eye right here. Okay. I'm going to try to write beaky nose. I hear B, E, beaky nose, n, o, z. I hear Z. Beaky nose. Well, that's a little too big, so I'm going to click out here, and I'm going to pull these in to be a little smaller and move it over here. Beaky nose. So you're going to do all three, and then after you drew all three, and if you want to write the names of them or type them in, that's up to you. If you want to label your pictures, that's fine. You don't have to. You could just draw the pictures because I really want you to use your microphone to tell me about them. So I would say, start recording. The tortoise has a beaky nose that it uses to eat leaves. It can rip up the leaves. And then you would click done after you tell about each one. I do want you to tell me what they use the body part for, not just that it has a beaky nose, but that it uses it to eat leaves or tear up leaves. So I want you to think about those body parts, and were they used to protect or keep it safe? Or did they use the body part to get food? So mostly the body parts were either used to get food or to keep it safe. So I want you to think about that. When you're all done, you're going to go ahead and click that green check and send your finished work off to me. Thank you.